Hey, thanks so much for finding the video. Do us a favor. If you haven't done so yet, please subscribe. And be sure to leave your comment. We love to interact. Enjoy the video. We all saw the play on Sunday where Michael Thomas was blocking. He was kind of engaged, and his left ankle got rolled on. Thankfully, he was able to get his foot out of there, which prevented any further injury. But the dreaded high ankle sprain. Every time we hear that, I think everybody initially sighs and exhales because you realize that that high ankle sprain is something that can linger. We've seen it with guys that have a high ankle sprain that they never really get right from it. I mean, Alvin Kamara a year ago had a knee and ankle injury, and from that point, in week 4 or 5 on, he was just never the same guy last year. If you look close to home here with LSU, I can remember back to 2016 with Leonard Fournette, injured his ankle the week leading up to that opener against Wisconsin at Green Bay and Lambeau. And it was just an on-again, off-again nagging thing all season. So, look, I think that's obviously the part of this that everybody dreads is Mike Thomas with this ankle injury that becomes a thing that lingers all season. Initially, Thomas said he didn't feel like it was that bad, didn't think he was going to miss any time. Now his status is week to week. That's according to ESPN and many other sources, so all the different outlets. So the Saints do expect Thomas to miss the game against the Raiders on Monday Night Football. Thomas, though, says he's still not convinced he's gonna miss time. Hopes to be back as soon as possible. According to this report from ESPN, the Saints have discussed the idea of placing Thomas on IR. Remember, IR rules are different this year. He would be sidelined for 3 weeks, but then could come back. Apparently, Mike Thomas not really in favor of that idea because he hopes he can be back sooner. So I get it. If you're the Saints, you don't want to have a player on the active roster who you can't use. Meanwhile, if Mike Thomas is available inside of 3 weeks, great. You'd much rather have that. I've seen a lot of people say, man, the Saints have got to have Michael Thomas available. And I want to be clear that I'm not going to minimize Thomas's role in this offense. There's a reason New Orleans paid him $100 million. There's a reason he obliterated the NFL's single-season catch record. He's the best receiver in the NFL. Not one of the best. He's the best receiver in the NFL. There might be guys with better breakaway speed, beat you over the top, but as far as receptions on targets, catch radius, drops, the guy that, hey man, I need 6 yards, who's the receiver I know can get 7, I can put it in a certain radius and he's going to catch the ball, it's Mike Thomas. And I don't know that it's even particularly close right now. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Thomas isn't important. Clearly, he is. But I want to remind you that New Orleans a year ago won 5 games without Drew Brees. If New Orleans can win 5 games without Drew Brees, they can go to Las Vegas and beat the Raiders on Monday Night Football without Mike Thomas. I'm not saying this is something that you want to make habitual. I'm not saying it's something that you're really pumped about not having an all-pro wide receiver, but you can win without Mike Thomas. Let me remind you, this week's matchup against the Raiders, there's a lot of things that benefit New Orleans. We saw the Raiders in week 1 go to Carolina. They got to win, but that's a Carolina team where the offensive coordinator is Joe Brady, the quarterback, Teddy Bridgewater. They're basically running the Saints offense. In a total rebuild, Carolina put up nearly 400 yards and 30 points on this Raiders defense. The Saints, bringing Alvin Kamara and Emmanuel Sanders and Jared Cook and all of the offensive weapons that they have, are going to be okay going to Las Vegas without Mike Thomas. I'm actually really excited to see if Emmanuel Sanders can break out, or if we see other receiving options emerge. I want to remind you, Emmanuel Sanders, even though for a football player he's long in the tooth, a year ago, 1 year in 2019, Emmanuel Sanders' best game, 7 catches, 157 yards, and a score. The touchdown was a 75-yarder. You probably remember against whom that came. That was the game where the Niners beat the Saints in the Dome. Emmanuel Sanders very much has that in him. He had 3 100-yard receiving games a year ago and another where he caught 98 passes. So he was, 98 yards. So he was 2 yards shy of a 400-yard receiving game. So this could be the opportunity for Emmanuel Sanders to really break out and emerge within this offense. Speaking of which, Emmanuel Sanders was on ESPN and talked to ESPN about Thomas and his injury.
I spoke with Mike yesterday, and he told me, he's going to take it day by day and see if he can make it back. When I talk about toughness, I've never been around a guy as tough as Mike and the way that he approaches the game and the way that he loves the game. And so I can't count him out right now just because I know what type of mentality he has, and he's going to try to give it all he can to try to make it back. But if he can't make it back, then it's always a next man up mentality, and so we got to have that.
This is an awesome opportunity for Emmanuel Sanders to step up with Thomas out. We've also seen this offense improvise in times when they haven't had a legit number 2 behind Thomas. They've gone to Kamara's. He's got 81 receptions in his career. That could certainly be more of an option this week for New Orleans if Mike Thomas isn't out there. I'll remind you about Benny Fowler, who's a guy that, look, when they signed Benny Fowler, I've made a crack and was like, yeah, he's not going to make the team. But Drew Brees vouched for him. Benny Fowler recovered the onside kick this past week. Maybe this is an opportunity to get Benny Fowler involved. Sean Payton has gushed all offseason about Deontay Harris, wanted to get him more involved in the offense. Here's an opportunity to do that. And certainly you've got guys like Jared Cook or maybe Adam Troutman who could factor into the passing game. And I'll point out as well, maybe this could be a long shot. And I'll grant you this could be a long shot. But Marquez Callaway made this team. And Marquez Callaway has that blow the top off of defense ability. We saw it at Tennessee. It's what he did, receiving and returning kicks. Maybe this is a week that, if Callaway is active, could be that guy who factors into the offense, maybe even for a play or two that become game breakers. Again, I'm not saying the Saints are better without Mike Thomas. I'm not even saying they're fine without Mike Thomas. There's a reason you paid him $100 million. He's the best receiver in football. But if you can win 5 games without Drew Brees, you can go to Las Vegas and beat the Raiders without Mike Thomas. My question is going to be who steps up in his absence, provided he doesn't play on Monday Night Football. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.